WonHeart's interview. This is Jolene from WonHeart TV, and I'm so excited to bring this guest on because she's explaining that there is some transformational stuff going on today because it's the summer solstice, y'all, and this is a time to, well, we're gonna find out. This is my dear friend. Hi, Heather. Heather Green, welcome.
Hi, Jolynn. Thanks again for having me. I'm glad to be here.
You bet. Okay. I have been just waiting, just dying all night. I was dreaming about like what is gonna happen with us all. And so, first of all, can you tell us a little bit about yourself first, Heather?
Yeah, just to introduce myself and my background, I'm an intuitive, I'm a channel, I'm an animal communicator, and I also do energy healing. And I've been doing that for about 10 years. Started, with animals. Horses kind of came into my life unexpectedly and took me on this magical journey of transformation and expanding consciousness. And really showed me how to connect with other beings telepathically and also understanding, what was going on with them from a psychic perspective. So really that journey, I think it was back in 2007 when it started, really blew me open in my awakening process and opened the intuitive channels and got me going in this field. And I totally changed the direction of my life from more mainstream work. I was a nurse and a counselor at the time and got into this whole expanding consciousness and transforming as we all are during this time. So, yeah.
With thank you with a lot of my intuitive friends, they comment about having these gifts, I'll call it, early in life. Was that something you knew, and maybe people tried to dampen your little light, or and you had to struggle with it, or any of that, or did you just sail away, good to go?
Well, I think you're right. We're born with our gifts. And by the way, we all have these gifts. It's just a matter of awakening to them and activating them. Um, I was a dreamer. I always considered myself intuitive, but I wouldn't have considered myself a psychic or, having any special abilities. And more, it was because it wasn't role modeled around me. People that were around me didn't understand it or know it well. So I didn't really know. And I think I repressed a lot of that early on just because of what was happening in my own life at the time. So it wasn't until my 20s, I would say my late 20s, when I started my awakening that I really came to know, oh, wow, there's more here. I can really sense on deeper levels, and I really want to explore what this is and use it to apply to my life, not only to make my life better, but possibly to help others. So that's how it happened for me.
Well, just to let the folks know a little bit about our connection, I was working with the teens at the juvenile hall and had come across this movie called The Animal Communicator. Oh, gosh, it was a lovely movie. It just
Yes.
transformed me. So I ended up seeing this segment about the Black Panther, Diego, I think was his name,
Hmm.
and how he felt. Well, there's a whole story around it. I highly recommend that y'all watch it out there. But then all of a sudden you popped up, I can't remember where, and you were doing a class on how to become an animal communicator.
Or how to communicate with animals,
That's
right?
better.
Yeah.
That's better. Yeah, how to communicate with them.
Right.
They're always talking. And wow, I brought some friends, and we had a great time with you. That was part of your work for quite some time, wasn't it?
Yes, with the horses. You guys came out with my horses, didn't you?
That's right.
It
Then I
was in
brought the
Templeton.
teens out because a lot of the teens feel like no one's listening to them, and they feel like they're pinned up and in a corner, much like animals or horses.
Yes. Yes.
And I know that you said that horses just have this intuitive gift as well.
Yes.
Can you
Eh,
explain a little bit? I think you even wrote a book.
I
You wrote a
did.
book about it. It's called, let's see, yes, For the Love of Horses.
Yeah. Do you have it there?
No,
No, I look like
I
you're looking
took a
at it.
peek at your, these are my notes. I took a peek
Okay.
at your website. I didn't know you had a book. This is
Oh, I
great.
didn't. I thought you did. Yeah, it's called For the Love of Horses, my book. It's on my website, which is tealhealing.com for those of you who don't know.
Yes.
And it's all about my journey of awakening and the horses and how they help me do that. I mean, I was already starting to become awake for some time, but it really launched me forward in my process. And yes, to answer the quick version of your question, Jolene, animals are very intuitive. They're very empathic. I think horses in particularly do it well. They know, they can sense what we're feeling, what's going on with us, and will often reflect that back to us. So it really teaches us to be really present inside ourselves and to be really true to ourselves, you know, however we're feeling, to honor that when we're around animals, and particularly big animals like horses, because they're always going to be picking up on how we feel. So the more that we can be real about how we feel, embracing it, whether it's anger, fear, sadness, just let ourselves be in that, the easier it is for them. Because they know they can trust us. They know we're being in honor of ourselves, that we're being authentic, and sometimes they'll even help us through that. So I mean, animals are amazing that way.
I know when I brought the kids out from the juvenile hall, it was amazing because many of them had never been really around horses. And I remember in particular this one young girl says
Mhm.
she always dreamt of touching a horse. And I looked at her and I said, "You are." And you did such a great work with them, having them learn how to lead the horse. So
Oh.
I remember I'm still vibrating. Hey,
Oh, that's
I got
great.
I got to share this. You talk about vibration. Let's get into the meat and bones of this transformation
Yes.
today. So we're vibrating. So tell me more about that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, with a solstice in particular, you know, and I just did a radio show on the whole eclipse passageway, which is pretty powerful. You know, we started at the beginning of June, June 5th. Now, today is the summer solstice, and I believe in California, 11:30 at night is when the eclipse happens. But in other areas, it's not going to be till tomorrow morning. And then we have, you know, the solar eclipse. Yeah, it's a big one. And then the last eclipse of the passageway is July 5th, right after the 4th of July. So that's kind of the sandwich we're in.
Wow.
So it's a huge transformational pathway for sure. But I would say, you know, with the solstice in particular, I'll focus on that today since we only have a certain amount of time. I feel like it's about freedom for everybody. There's a deepening in freedom. That's the theme. Whatever that means for you, whether it means you've been carrying a lot of emotional baggage, maybe you've got some issues you've been plugging away at and you're really ready to let them go, this is the time to do it. Or maybe you get a huge epiphany around, what can I do? What needs changing in my life? Is there a relationship I need to let go of, a job? Do I need to completely change direction? Is this about expanding in your purpose that you're already in, or is it about starting something new? So that's coming up for a lot of people. And, you know, eclipses, especially the solar one, which is going to involve the sun, are about power. You know, you unplug the power and then you plug it back in again. So we're really being activated in our own sense of empowerment around that kind of thing. Purpose, freedom. We're going to see more coming up in our collective around freedom on a lot of levels. You know, we've already been seeing this, but we're going to deepen into it even more, especially during right around the solar, you know, eclipse time, today, tomorrow, the next week.
So what should we be looking for? Is there anything that can help us like in our bodies or our dreams? You know, how could we tune into this if we're not familiar with it?
Yeah, I think, you know, taking the time to be calm, being still. You know, one thing I've been getting intuitively for myself is the need to rest right now. And I was a little surprised about that. I'm like, well, wait a minute, things are happening. I'm ready to move forward. And I think a lot of people are feeling that propelling of the energy. And at the same time, we want to be still and rest to prepare, because I think July is going to be more of an active month, more
Mm.
manifestation. Today and throughout the next week or so of June, rest, get still. If you meditate, this is a great time. The energy will support that meditation, but you may get these ideas and inspiration as an epiphany. You know, one thing right now, these energies are bringing this in for us in a way that's really easy for us to grasp. We don't have to struggle to try to get it. it's going to hit you over the head more. So if you know you've been kind of been pushed in a direction and you haven't quite been listening, yeah, you're going to get that extra, you're going to get that extra nudge, like, you know what, you can't let this go anymore, and sometimes we get things taken away so that we can really get that wake up call. So yeah.
Interesting you say take it away. Of course, the pandemic is big right now, and it sure put us as my first guest I interviewed, Carrie Assumption, said we're in pause. We're in
Yes.
pause moment, and it's almost like you're saying meditate, be
Yeah,
still,
be
walk in
still,
nature,
walk in nature,
and
be
just
tender with yourself, especially your
ah,
body.
yeah, so you can be ready for the inspiration.
Yes, you can be open to it so
Yeah.
you can hear it.
I
Yeah, and
know, I know I am. And there's a saying from Abraham Hicks. It's tap in, tune in, and turn on. I
yes,
love that one.
in
Tap
all the
in,
ways, all the ways.
like the radio frequency, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can find your own unique way to do this. And if you feel really tired right now, let yourself rest. Like I was telling Jolynn when we first got on, I said, "Oh, I'm tired. I can feel the energies coming in."
I was too. I wanted to sleep in, but I have dreamt about this interview all night. I was all worried. By the way,
Yeah.
if we fall and crash, it might be on my end. I apologize to y'all. I'm at the campsite, and so that's why I have a new look behind me. But I'm still got some questions here. Okay,
Yes.
so you said you alter with some of the work that you do. You alter people's physical, mental, and emotional realities. And I underline realities because I feel right now that I'm not living in this earth reality right now. And I know
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of other folks that are waking up and saying, with all of this going on, there's some untruths. I want the truth. I can't help but focus on the word reality. It,
Mm-hmm.
is this an illusion?
Right.
I don't
Good.
know. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yes. Well, I know you took the whole sentence, the first sentence you said from my website, and I just want to clarify, I don't alter anybody's reality.
Oh,
I will help you to alter your own
okay,
reality.
good.
You'll
That's right.
connect with your higher self, and I show you, I have protocols. I give people tools for how to expand their consciousness and how to shift their vibrational frequencies and then move into what it is that they want. So, of course, you can learn more about that on my website. But as for your question about reality now and the truth, it's a good question. I've been telling people the reason it's so confusing out there is we're being asked to go within to find the answers. That's what's happening here, because that really is what it means to be sovereign, to go within and find it for ourselves.
Oh,
Don't look outside for somebody to tell you. Don't look outside for the media or the news or even some other authority that maybe you respect. What about you?
yeah.
Our hearts are wise, and if we tune in, and that's another reason to be still and quiet and be open right now. What is the truth speaking to us? And when we tune into that, we're going to get our own information and recognize that we have the power to create our own personal reality. We're in charge of our own timeline.
Right.
And when we shift our vibration accordingly, moving into higher levels of joy and peace and recognizing all that we truly have, what we're grateful for, and not buying into the illusions out there, not necessarily aligning with the lower timelines, that some of the mass collective is kind of on a different timeline, then we can create a whole different reality for ourselves. How do we want our lives to be? And that's because when we do that, not only does it make our own life more enjoyable, more contentment, more peace, all of that, but we role model and show the way to others to do the same. That's how I actually bring more change to the world in what we want to see. So it really is up to us, each one of us.
Yeah, I do know that there's so much shaming going on, whether
Mhm.
your belief system is wear a mask or don't wear a mask, or
Yeah.
Republican or Democrat, and I don't want to get into that part because I'll tell you,
Hmm.
I'm like swimming, swimming, but I do want to trust my
That's right.
inner guide, inner sense,
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everyone should be listening to that. So nobody should be feeling like they have to do one or the other. It's really, and this is also how we're learning how to have compassion and respect for others in our world,
Mm.
is honoring everyone's individual choice and what feels right to them. And, and obviously in public places, it's required to be wearing this protection. So whether you, even if you believe it's not necessary, out of respect for those who do believe it is necessary, you're being in honor of that, and it's a compassion for other humans and for this process that we're in.
Yeah.
But as far as your own personal life, yeah, feel into, is this right for me or not? What is the best thing for me to be doing right now, and find that answer in the heart.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Well, that was great. I love that.
Hmm.
I love that answer. More compassion. That's
That's
certainly
what
what
we're
we need.
moving into. That's what
Yeah.
all of this is really about: compassion and unconditional love,
Yeah.
complete acceptance of those who are different than us, which
Yes.
includes even those with way different opinions, you
Mm,
know
that's stretching us.
it sure
Out of our
is.
comfort zone. Out of our
Uh-huh.
I've been stating something that I was taught a long time ago, fear, false evidence appearing real. And I really like that phrase, and I just made a new one up for love. It's called life offering vibrational expansion.
Ooh,
I don't know. I hope it
I
takes off.
like that.
I hope it takes off cuz love, that's what love is.
Yeah, I would say love, and of course we're talking about the unconditional sense, is complete acceptance of what is. There's no charge there. There's no necessary in making, it's not necessary, should I say, in making anything be different than it already is. It's perfect. No matter what's happening, no matter what's happening.
I think most people who, going back to your animals work, they show us, nature shows us right in the very moment where life is going, where life
Yeah.
is expanding and vibrating. So
Hmm. Hmm.
they're the best gift, probably.
Yes, they are. And they're not attached to an outcome,
No.
and they innately follow their own intuition, and then their love and acceptance and their group collective mind helps them in their journeys, and that's something that we're figuring out as humans.
Right. Yeah. Um, there was something else that you spoke of, and I have to touch on it because I heard of it, but I actually don't know very much about it. You work with the Pleiadians and the Angelic,
Angelics, yeah.
and can you just touch a little bit on that, and what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so the Pleiadians, for those of you who don't know, are beings from other star systems. They're in different dimensions, and they've already gone through their own ascension process. And that's what we're in here on Earth. So they know what we're going through, and they can offer us a great safe space. I want to say they're holding space for whatever it is that we want to do on the planet. It's up to us. They don't have an agenda. It's our choice how we want to do this, together as a collective. But they also have a wealth of information to offer. So I've connected with them. I've been channeling them for the last 4 to 6 years, I think, and bringing through information about ascension and this time of change on the planet and how we're expanding our consciousness. And I find that their information is very helpful because, again, they know kind of what we're going through and can offer some tools and tips for how we can navigate this and make it be a little bit easier and graceful. And I found it very helpful even in my own individual journey. I'll ask them, hey, what do you think about this? And it's like, oh wow, it's just as simple as moving into my heart and sitting in that wisdom, getting out of the mind, very simple, easy shifts that they will often bring through. But that's why I've connected with them, and I think it's very helpful. And the angelics, there's different angelic groups. Of the angels of the Elohim, they're a group that talk about ascension as well and what's happening with the earth in particular. So sometimes I'll bring them through for more information about the earth's shifting
Mm,
during this time. The earth is kind of leading us and guiding us, holding the templates of the higher possibilities and trajectories for what can happen with the collective. Yeah.
Woo, that sounds like a whole class. I mean, you know a lot about it. It's
Yes, and
wonderful.
I do offer classes on where I channel the Pleiadians on this kind of topic for people who are interested in ascension. Yeah.
I'm very interested in archaeological ruins. I have for quite some
Mm.
time. Even went to Egypt a couple of years ago. While I was looking up the summer solstice and the importance of it this time around, today into tomorrow, I
Hmm.
found that Stonehenge is going to have a live viewing at the marker times that they have.
Oh, wow.
And I looked up the times. Of course, they're like 8 hours ahead of us.
Hmm.
So I think there's one at 1:30 p.m. California time
Hmm.
today. Um, don't hold me to it.
Yeah, right.
Not sure, but I looked it up, and you know the Stonehenge. I guess there's so much around that. Uh, that do you know much about that and why that might be important this time of year?
I don't know a lot about Stonehenge. I've actually been there, but I don't know the whole history around it other than it's a very powerful spot. You know, it's got a powerful energy in the earth there and a little bit on the mystics of the background with the stones and how they got there. But I would say that any area of the earth that's a very strong, powerful spot, anything that has a vortex energy, which is, you know, the ley lines of the earth come together in such a way that provide this really transformative energy, are going to be really activated right now. I would say during this eclipse and, you know, the solstice today, they're going to get really activated. And I do feel like more areas of the earth are opening up, new portals, new gateways, especially into the celestial star systems, connecting with the other galaxies, you know, the other parts of our universe, to bring forth the transformative energy that really not only helps our earth but helps all of us.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, we
happening.
need a lot of help right now. We do.
we
We need a lot of help.
we need all the support we can get. You know, it's we're courageous for being here right now.
That's so true. That's so true. I don't think many of us really know how this
Hmm.
might be a time we look back in and go, wow,
Hmm.
the earth rock and rolled and we were rocking
Yes.
with it.
And
Yeah.
we were there. We chose to
We were
be there at this
there.
time.
And
Not just, you know, courageous in our own journey of awakening, but also for those of us who are really stepping into our power as wayshowers and healers and light workers. This is the time that we've come for. You know, we know we've come to help at this time. So
yeah,
it's
yeah. I know that I've been awakening for quite some time and looking at things and the media and different things along the way going, that doesn't feel right. You know, that doesn't feel right. When you see, oh, the national news, for instance, a half an hour of news, all negative except for one little sliver at the end, positive, maybe. And the
yeah,
commercials are all big pharma. So I
yeah.
remember thinking you can count how many using both hands and more, your
Hmm.
toes. So, um, I know that I've been waking up, but I'm still in it because, you know, I feel the bobble and but I'm always glad to be out in nature. So I
Yes.
have to take us back then for a minute. Um, on your website, it looked like you were having some kind of gathering. Did we miss that where
Oh,
several of,
oh,
talk about that?
I think it's a whale gathering. I had one in March, and
Okay.
I'm going to have another one. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I need to get my website up to date. I don't have my recent classes up there. I'm going to do another whale gathering. Obviously, I have to have a small group because of the whole pandemic thing. So it'll be reserved space. But I'm going to be doing it up here in Carmel. I live in Monterey County now. So it'll be in Carmel for people who are local or people who don't have to drive far. If you're interested, it's going to be outdoors on private property, and we'll be connecting to the whale energies, the animal collective of the whales, the higher consciousness, to bring through information, what's going on, because they really bring through a whole new perspective, and also some energy transmissions that can really support us right now in our own transformation. So that's going to be coming up. It's going to be on July 11th, actually. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So for those who are interested, you can contact me through my website. My email is all on there. And then I have two channeling classes. We'll be channeling the Pleiadians coming up in July as well. Mid-July, one in mid-July, one in at the end of July. So people who are interested in that, yes, good stuff coming through.
Yeah, and I'm going to make sure that I put your link in the Facebook and on WonHeart TV when I repost this on YouTube, so they can get a hold of you. It looks like you've got everything on your website, correct? Your phone number.
Most, yeah, yes, all my contact info is on my website.
Good,
Absolutely. Yep.
good, because I'm sure if this perks people's interest just to get maybe some ideas of like what's going on, how you
And
could help them.
yeah, and just how to stay balanced during this time. Because, that's the biggest thing I think that people feel, not only in their own lives, whatever's coming up for you right now, whatever might get triggered. If you do get triggered, just know this is supposed to happen so you can move through that process, but also not to feel into a lot of the mass collective energies out there. That can be really difficult if you're feeling the fear and the anger and the angst out there. Really keep your field clear. You mentioned nature, Jolene. Nature's a great, powerful cleanser. Get out on the earth, be outdoors, get in the water if you can. Water's even better. So if you live near the ocean, that'll help clear your field, and do all those things that you know how to do to keep yourself balanced, and reach out for help if you need it. You need a little guidance or some extra help with some healing. This is the time, because we can really make some major leaps forward. I mean, this is a great potential for many of us on personal and collective levels, and there's a lot of different options for how things can go collectively. So this is a great time to hold space for everybody in their process,
Yes,
and
I
that we're
heard.
all one, you know?
I have a song called One World actually.
Yes.
Video up on that. I heard wetting the grass, soaking it really good at home, and then take your shoes and socks off and just walk in it. Grounding
Grounding.
the earth. So yeah, if you can't get near a beach or a swim.
That's really important, even in your own backyard. Thank you for mentioning that, because grounding is really important right now. The light frequencies coming in that we're taking in, our body is taking in these frequencies to help us transform. And we're transforming on all levels: physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, everything. So when we take this high level light in, that sometimes is why we're tired. We need to rest so we can integrate it. But we also need to ground, as you say. Something I know I need to work on a lot because I'm always off in the psychic realms in my work. Just getting outdoors, like you said, walking through the grass, let your body connect to earth in the way it knows how. Let your body figure out how to ground and center with these energies, and with the new earth energies too, because the earth is so different than she used to be. She's in her process too. So it's a different kind of energy. It's already it's shifting with every day. Yeah.
Well, any last thoughts on the transformation? I actually, it says new beginnings, fresh opportunities. Would you
Yeah.
say that's kind of the direction right now for Mother
Yeah.
Earth, for us?
Absolutely. And
And
again, it brings back to the solar eclipse, which is the reset. We're hitting that reset button. And even though, we had a little bit of the reset happening during the shelter in place a few months ago, this is a really, it's more of an exact moment of a reset, like for everybody. So take the time to honor that reset for yourself,
mm,
to be tender to yourself, to be tender to others, to tune in the way that you tune in, and be ready. Divine inspiration, it's just coming in right now. And so when you get that, have a paper and pen ready to write it down, because you're going to start to get the visions and the senses. You might have, like you said, dreams coming in that say, hey, I might but want to go in this direction. And like you said, opportunities can come in out of nowhere right now. The fifth dimension, that fifth dimensional energy is no time. So our experience of time is still here, but it might appear as though these opportunities or potentials just come out of nowhere. And so
mm,
that's the magic of this time too, for
yeah,
everyone to embrace and,
that's how
yeah,
my
step into.
songs come. Music comes that way. It just comes. So I'm gonna now get my guitar. I brought my guitar. I'm gonna get it out.
Oh,
Maybe I'll write a new song.
that's great. This is a perfect time for something new like that, Jolynn,
Yeah.
especially with creativity for
Oh,
many people. Yes,
oh, we need our artists. We need our creatives.
we do. That's our natural gifts. That's what the
Mhm.
world needs right now, more of that feminine energy. And that's the creative, the intuitive, the relationship kind of type of things. Absolutely.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Well, Heather Green, it's been such a pleasure. Half an hour always goes by so fast, but I want to recap. They can find some individual things. Of course, if they want to get in touch with you, uh, your website is tealhealing.com, correct?
All one word. Yes.
tealhealing.com. You can check out Heather Green there. She's got all the information of what she does. Plus, you've got an upcoming, well, trip. July, what was the date again? July.
July 11th, and I will get my website updated. I just put it on my newsletter I sent out the other day. I'm slow, but it is July 11th. So you can email me if you're interested in attending
That's
that gathering, because the space is limited since it's in person. But it's going to be outdoors, so it'll be a lot of fun.
a
Yeah.
Saturday, I take it.
Saturday. Yep,
Okay.
Saturday, 1 to 3, July 11th.
And for today, just look for the blessings into tomorrow, just
Oh, en-
opportunities, beginnings.
enjoy the magic of today. It's summer solstice. It's always a magical day, the first day of summer. And yeah,
Longest day of the year too, right?
that's right. Yeah, so we have the sun. Really feel into that sun energy. The sun is transforming too and helping us in our transformation. So we have it coming at us from all angles. So really just relish it. And I would recommend getting out in nature, doing something outdoors today, and really celebrating that, and then paying attention to whatever comes to you during this time.
Well, that's what my little girl and I are going to do right after this. We're going to take a nice walk on the beach. So, Heather, it was so
Yay!
nice to talk with you, visit with you. We're going to, I keep saying I'm going to have to come back with all of the women that I've interviewed because there's so much more. So
Of course.
I'm going to be calling you again, but thank you.
That
Thank you
sounds
for joining
lovely.
us. And to all of our listeners here with One Heart TV, again, I like to interview people with new perspectives and insights to help you grow and become the best you. So thank you again, Heather. We're going to just take off now and have fun for the day, aren't we?
Thank you, Jolynn, again for having me. And yes, I mean,
Yes.
wonderful day to everyone today.
Super. All right. Take care, y'all. Peace. Love
Okay,
y'all.
bye.
Bye bye.